Hello everyone and welcome to another video, and today we are talking about the brand new units and the brand new banner that you should stay the hell away from. Yeah, that's it. I'm not going to play a little too, oh, should you do this? Should you not do this? This is a banner you should stay away from. But why? Well, you may just click away from the video now. You may stay watching it. Thank you if you stay watching it, because we're going to have a little bit of a chat. So first of all, let's talk about one of the new characters, who is the Butcher, who I called, whose real name turns out to be Forelskelse. Forelskelse. Anyway. His TMR is a 72 attack, 91 spirit greatsword, and that greatsword is potentially really good if you wanted to build a Awakened Rain, or if you just wanted to give your, I don't know, regular unit some extra spirit who is using a greatsword. Other than that, well, is there anything else that's really interesting about him? His limit burst is just a multi-turn thunder and wind resistance, which really isn't that special. The one thing that was very interesting about him when we read about him was that he could imbue elements onto other characters. Which, maybe. So to actually be able to use this, he has to use an ability, and then he gains the ability to use it for 2 turns to give thunder or wind for 3 turns to a unit's attacks. Now, does mean that you have to use this, but he could potentially set up some OTKs, maybe. I don't think this unit's entirely worthless. I don't think he's entirely any kind of great either. But for his thunder and wind imbue ability, he might just be my favorite thing on this banner. So next up is Magna, and to make sure we know which one is Magna, this is Magna. That's Forelskelse. Anyway, moving on to Magna. And the banner's just rotating because there isn't really much point in putting much effort into this, or doing this banner. Alum didn't. Yeah, I'm a little salty about it. Anyway. So about Magna, first of all, her Trust Mastery turned out to be a 20% extra magic when two-handing a weapon plus 10% MP. I really don't know. In theory, this can go over the 300% magic cap, but is 20% really worth it? No, it's not. It's really not. So I don't think her TMR turned out, actually I think it turned out being worse. What is interesting, what's not super interesting, her limit burst is an 840% AoE 3-hit light magic attack with a max 74% chance silence paralyze, which I know is not a word, but anyway, paralyze, there you go, and confuse. She has Thundara, Thundaga, and Thundaja, and Ultima. She can dual cast black magic. She has a stop ability in a turn. Interestingly, she does have a magical awakening, which gives 200% to her next use of a magic attack. And this is kind of interesting. She has a 45 MP, 250% AoE 7-hit light magic attack with 150% extra use per turn. Why is this interesting, you may ask? Well, because it is Holy Explosion frames, and this is essentially a budget Holy Explosioner. She even gets it at 5-star, not even 6-star. I talked about the last banner, Barrett, being a really good thing for people who don't have a lot of chainers and are just starting the game. Magna is potentially a decent chainer to get Holy Explosion framing, just one of the most widely used types of chaining. So all she really needs is dual cast to be, or dual wield to be useful, if that can be double casted. Okay, so since it's now that I think about it, since it's a magic ability, it won't be used twice for dual wield, but you can use a 12 MP ability to recover 60 MP and learn the ability to use it twice per turn, so it's still budget and could be usable if you need a chainer and a damager. She's nothing that great, though. Moving on, next is Leopold. I called him Leopard in the initial talk about him, and his name is apparently Leopold. And yeah, that's about all that's super interesting. His materia, though, is a 20% defense, 30% HP, plus 30% wind resistance. Good if you were building a wind tank of some kind, so it's not completely worthless. His limit burst is an AoE, maxed out 42% damage reduction in AoE 3 turn, plus 125% attack. Kind of a brand new physical tank of sorts, this guy, and the limit burst is more helpful than something like Warrior of Light, who has just a totally useless, for the most part, limit burst. But he does have Sentinel, excuse me, he does have some physical, or some counters. He does have a Provoke ability that's 3 turn for 100% chance, and he can defend against, for multiple, or for the entire party, with a 50% damage reduction. It's only a 50% chance, but I don't know, it's kind of interesting. He also has an interesting ability. If you used another ability last turn, you end up being able to do, no, never mind, that wasn't the one I was thinking it was. He'll have a 600% 7-hit wind earth magic, or physical, with an attack of 100% defense. So he uses his defense, which you're basically wanting to build this guy anyway, so he's kind of interesting. He's kind of another budget tank, let's put it that way. Again, it seems like 2 brand new chainers that require you to use another ability first before you can really do it, and really, also, this guy would probably not be the greatest for dual wield, because if he's a tank, you probably want him just to have a shield on him. And he can equip shield, so. And last is our brand new 5-star. Where is she? There she is. Say hello to Elfim. Now, Elfim, I said, could be potentially very interesting, and it turns out she almost is. Her Trust Mastery is a 12 attack, 23 magic, 125 spirit, 2-handed rod with some kind of variance, as well as gives 20% extra HP. So it's a very nice harp in general. Her Super Trust Mastery is 25 defense, 30 magic, 75 spirit robe with 20% HP that decreases song MP by 20%. Okay, this might mean that bards come into the future in some way, shape, or form, but definitely not here. Now, here's the interesting part. And afterwards you can stop listening. Her limit burst maxed out at with the bonus from a Trust Mastery reward is an AoE 3-turn, minus 75% to attack, defense, magic, and spirit, and an AoE 3-turn, plus 145% to attack, defense, magic, and spirit. She also recovers 20% to HP and MP and grants an ability for 1 turn. Now, what is that 72 ability? Well, it costs 72 MP is what I was going to lead into. It is a 6,000 HP heal with a 22.5 times mod, split over 2 turns, and an AoE 75 MP mod with a 0.38 times mod, while singing split over 2 turns. So it's a song ability. It also gives 170% to magic and spirit while singing, and learn basically a 1-turn cast 2 of any magic. Well, now Elfim, Elfim's might be more interesting than I thought. But going back to her limit burst, here's the catch. It costs 45 limit burst crystals. That is a huge freaking cost, and you could in theory charge it fairly easily with someone such as CG Fina just using Entrust, or Titus using Entrust, or someone using Entrust. But, and I have to admit, her limit burst maxed out is a consistent for 3 turns, 75% buff to your team, and or 75% debuff to the enemy, and 145% buff to your team, and 145% for 3 turns, potentially multicasted, is a big deal. It is a very strong limit burst. Plus, it gives you an ability, excuse me, to basically boost a magic party by 170% for 2 turns and heal the party quite nicely. Honestly, Elfim's not bad. The problem is how many enemies can be broken, for what, and how, and you're still using up a party member to do this. However, she is debuffing and buffing at the same time. If you could fill her limit burst consistently, she could be really, really powerful. 145% buff is only 5% behind units such as Ignis and CG Nicole, and a 75% debuff is almost as strong as a lot of CG Lid stuff. Not bad. But she also has in her a 3-turn 50% debuff skills. She has Hide. She ups her defense. She gets extra HP and MP when equipping a harp. She has an AoE 3-turn 150% limit burst fill, plus an AoE 5-turn fill 5 limit crystals for everyone. Okay. She's immune to paralyze. She has some wind, water, and light resistance. She has an AoE MP drain. She gets extra spirit, extra MP. She has a naturally in her kit for 86 MP, 120% buff to everyone for 2 turns. And she also gains a couple of healing and MP spells, which give the party interesting things such as casting 2 white magics or casting 2 black magics, depending on which skill you use. And here's a few other things that are kind of interesting while we're talking about her. For equipping her TMR, which you would anyway, you get 10% HP MP, 20% to Spirit, 100% Petrify resistance, and auto use. She's stop resistant too. She's 100% stop resistant. For a singer, not getting petrified, sleep, paralyzed, or stopped are all very, very good things. Stop resistance is starting to pop up in multiple units, but this isn't bad. It's not bad. Now we get into our 7-star kit, which has 140% extra to attack and defense with 1 song, attack and magic with 1 song, and another song, defense and spirit. Both of these abilities are 2-turn abilities, AoE 2-turn debuffs to the enemy of either, if you're boosting your attack and magic, you're debuffing the enemy's defense and spirit. If you are boosting your defense and spirit, you are debuffing the enemy's attack and magic for a couple turns. Plus, the 2-turn thing is kind of nice, given that 10-man trials, it can be annoying when one of your characters has been singing for 3 turns and you just want them to shut up. So you can switch party members. 2 turns might be a better thing than 3 turns, although 120 MP is a little expensive, but it is 140% buff and a 55 debuff in 1 move. Plus it's healing some HP or MP. Her cooldown abilities, available turn 1, 2-turn cooldown, so why even bother? She has an AoE, dispel buffs and debuffs, and cast 5 random status effects with 80% to all status effects. That's potentially interesting for Arena. It is. And another cooldown ability available turn 12 on 11 turn cooldown in AoE, 100% HP and MP fill. Cooldown is way too high. It makes me think that we're going to see time magic show up in the future. But 100% HP, more importantly 100% MP, that could be interesting for long fights. She also, last ability is a decreased target chance of 75%, 30% spirit when equipped with a heart, 30% light, wind, and water resistance when equipped with a heart. She might also be very useful in the Leviathan fight. Either way, if she's giving extra abilities like cast 2 of any magic to every unit in your party, that is pretty interesting. But in general, what do I think of this banner? This is a pretty hard pass banner, unless you're really interested in Elfim as a buffer, debuffer. She seems kind of like just a thing that if you already have a good buffer like Ignis and a good debuffer like CG Lid, then there's probably no reason to try on this banner. At least not very hard. Also, the other thing is, if you look at this banner, the other thing that is a big red flag to me is that you get basically 33 star quartz for doing a pull. And let me tell you something, star quartz are not that valuable. This is pretty much just a hard pass banner. Pretty much. But I have to admit that I guess I already did that pull for today. Huh. Well, we'll do one pull. One pull, that is all. Because today has not been the greatest of days. Or you know what, we'll do 2 pulls. We'll do 1 regular ticket and 1 4-star ticket, because I'm nice like that. In general, if you got Elfim, I wouldn't say it's the worst thing in the world. Elfim is potentially really good. It's just the problem that you need 2 of her. There's no step-up banner, which, yeah, I've complained about step-up banners in the past, but see, there's the star quartz. That's all you get for doing these pulls. Isn't it sad? I'm just wasting a couple of tickets, but in general, I don't feel particularly that great or that strong about this banner, but it's not the worst thing. It's not the worst thing, unlike these pulls which couldn't even get a on-banner unit. So that is all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you all in the next video, where we will be talking a little bit about the enhancements that have come. Till then, folks, till then. Now I need to find the stop button. There it is.